afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture just to see how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, after that last review, I had gone and watched episode 5. But before we get into episode 5, I need to go back a little bit because there was some stuff in episode 4 that I forgot to mention. And one of those things that I forgot to mention was the fact that Carrie got close with her realtor. And her realtor, was telling her about, the realtor's name, Seema. Carrie got close to the realtor, and towards the end of the show, Carrie got upset with Seema because Seema had accidentally broken the picture frame that had Big and her picture in it. And Carrie got real upset and was telling her that she was being insensitive and all this other stuff. And you remember I told you in that last episode, when it's about Carrie, Carrie wants you to be very what is it? She wants you to cater to her and make sure you make her feel good. And she was just completely going off, and you were insensitive. And the thing that I liked about Seema says, well, I am truly sorry that it broke. I can understand that how I came across was insensitive, but you also have to understand that you were insensitive to me. And Carrie kind of looked a little funny. She says, at that time when I was explaining to you about not being married, you made the statement, oh, well, it's good that you're still putting yourself out there. And for me, that was insensitive. And Carrie was like, well, I didn't mean it insensitive. And she says, I know you did. Now I know you didn't. But you have to understand me. I broke this. I'm taking accountability for breaking this. But I didn't break it intentionally. I'm just letting you know that I can get the glass fixed. Because Carrie's like, you can't do anything with the glass because that's the glass that Big touched. And it's just ruined and everything like that. And she says, I'm offering to fix this, but you have to understand that you can be insensitive as well. And so I like the fact that Seema is calling Carrie on her stuff. So now let's go in here to season 1, episode 5. Again, it's called Tragically Hip. So we find out that Carrie needs, we also find out that Carrie needs hip surgery. So Carrie has her hip surgery. She goes through the process of getting her hip surgery. Charlotte has this big old list of like who's supposed to be doing what at what time and everything like that. We also find out that Carrie's friend, gay friend, the one with the glasses, he has left to go to London to manage this TikTok celebrity, and that he's going to divorce his husband, the one with the black hair. Now this is it. This is key because the man that plays that character had passed away during the filming. So I guess this is our way to know that he is left. Okay. Carrie has her hip surgery. She's having to be transferred. Has to have assistance for the next couple of weeks because she's in a brace and all this other stuff, and she can't apply as much pressure on it and stuff. So Carrie goes to, while Carrie has her hip surgery, she's on drugs. She goes to work. While she's at work, she is the life of the job. She says some things about herself that she would have been just as reserved if she wasn't on the drugs. But she mentioned a time that when her friend Samantha had to take her diaphragm out because she couldn't find it or she couldn't feel for it, so her friend did it for her. Charlotte heard her tell that story, and she's like, you need to call Samantha and let her know that you told that story. And oh, insensitive Carrie. Why? I mean, it's like, why? Because it was about me. She says, well, you mentioned Samantha's full name. And so she has a right to know that you don't want somebody else to come up to her and say, oh my gosh, you took somebody's diaphragm out. What kind of woman are you? So Charlotte was just trying to let it go. You need to give Samantha the heads up. Carrie does that. She texts her. Samantha texts her back. She says that's okay. And basically, when Carrie texts her back and says, I missed you, Samantha didn't return that text. So let's talk about Charlotte. We find out that Rose has now started calling herself Rock in school. And everybody is calling her Rock in school. But her parents did not know that she had changed her name to Rock. Because the school is so inclusive and everything like that. They made the wrong turn and thought that Rock, aka Rose, told her parents, and she didn't. So Charlotte and her husband had to sit down with the school and to kind of go over with that. And they felt some kind of way of having to hear about their daughter changing her name and all this other stuff. Charlotte talked with what is the guy in the black who runs the gay guy who runs the bakery. She had Rose go there, aka Rock, go there to thing because she wanted to talk to him about it, and he was just telling her, look, you're just going to have to wait on that. You're just going to have to figure this thing out. I can't tell you what's going on with her because she's young right now. So let her, you're just going to have to roll with the punches. And I think Charlotte is going to do that. Her husband is like, I'm upset. Me and her are close. And how come she didn't feel like she could tell us that? She kind of did, but she didn't at the same time. Let me see what else. So Carrie is, again, Carrie needs help back and forth. So it's Miranda's turn to help with Carrie. So Carrie has taken these drugs and she has gone to sleep. So while she sleeps, Chi comes over to check on Carrie. Well, while Chi is there, Chi brings some alcohol and, she has her weed on her. And so about an hour in, Chi and Miranda are just giggling and laughing and having a good time. And next thing you know, they're in there full on having sex. And boy, Miranda is just hollering and screaming like she hadn't had an orgasm in 6,000 years, child. Meanwhile, Carrie is in the bed needing assistance. And so she sees them in there having sex. So she decides that she needs to pee. So she can't put pressure on that hip. So she takes the bottle and she pees in the a drink bottle. So she pees in the drink bottle, but as she's trying to scoot up to get back in the bed, she accidentally hits the bottle on the bed, and then the bottle just wets the bed anyway, because she had almost won that battle and she didn't. So Miranda comes in, and Carrie has peed and she's pissed. And so she tells Miranda, I needed you. You were supposed to be in here, and what was going on in my kitchen, and I'm over here. What is going on with you? And so, and you're drunk. And she was like, well, let me help you with the bed. And Carrie's like, no. She says, you are drunk. You're supposed to be here for me, and you are drunk. And so maybe Charlotte is right about your drinking, and that upsets Miranda. But Miranda was able to say, look, I'm going through some things. I may have drank too much during the pandemic, but I've got a lot of stuff going on. She tells her that she's unhappy in her marriage and she's unhappy in her life. And I'm like, yes, Miranda, yes. Get that breakthrough out. You had to let that come out. You had to let that come out. Now, what's going on with you and Che? I don't know. But you're going to have to deal with the issues that you have. You're unhappy in your marriage. You're unhappy with your life. This is why you decided to take these new classes. You quit your job at the firm. All of these little different things. So we're starting to see some things. And and Carrie started to realize that, her friends are really in crisis. And she's in crisis too. But all of them are in a certain level of crisis. And they're trying to deal with what they've got going on. Let me make sure. I'm going through my notes to make sure. So after Miranda helps Carrie, she goes back home. She was pouring herself a drink, and then she thought about it. And then she just took all her liquor and she poured it all out. So, and then at the end, Carrie gets back in her heels in 3 months. She goes to the she goes to the physical therapist, and then she gets this really good physical therapist that does wonders on her body. She goes out to the reception to schedule with him again, and they say, "Ma'am, your insurance doesn't cover him, but we're sorry. We didn't find that out till later." She says, "I'll pay out of pocket." And in 3 months, she's back in her heels. So that was the end of the episode. For me, it was funny. It was a more humorous episode, but they were dealing with very serious topics. But you all tell me what you thought of this episode. Do you like the show? Did you watch Sex and the City when it was out? Did you watch the movies? Now, I didn't watch the movies. I think I'll go back and watch the movies, but I didn't watch the Sex and the City movies. I remember there was this big thing about Jennifer Hudson being in the movies, but I did in the Sex and the City movies, but I didn't watch the movies. Y'all tell me what y'all think. So that was episode 5. We'll see you again for these next videos. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm still on my quest for 500. Please tell your friends, to your family, hell, even tell your enemies that we are over here making these videos. If there's something that you want to see, let me know. If there's something that you don't like, let me know. Just leave it all in the comments, and I'll see you next time. And as always, bye-bye.